The myth refuses to die, but the numbers do not lie. Liberal arts graduates from Ashoka, Kriya, LSR, St. Stephens, ಈ ತರ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳು are placed in firms like engineers, Bain Boston Consulting, Microsoft, Meta, ಈ ತರ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈ ತರ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ when there are hundreds and thousands of people, because Meta, Microsoft, not 1, 2, 3, 4, there are lakhs of people working. Millions of people working. So, ishtu million people work ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, there also you need policies, there also you need, or you may work in the NGO sector of that particular company where the CSR funds, ಆ CSR funds manage ಮಾಡೋ ಟೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈ ತರ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಓಪನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಆಂಟಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ. ಇನ್ನು ದಿಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಡಿನೈ? Psychology is how your brain functions, how your mind functions. And psychology is mostly opted by the students who are choosing humanities. So people say humanities are a science, but no, many people do humanities and psychology together, and they take majors in psychology later, and they also become psychologists. So that means you need to have a mind for helping people at the understanding of psychological side, so that you understand people better. And so psychology is also a part of humanities in day-to-day life, because you have to understand how people think, and it is not anti-science. Okay, psychology, linguistic, economics, behavioral science, okay, behavioral science and political science uses statistical methods every day. You need to be, now idanella include ಮಾಡಿ, now you want to, for example, you want to take, okay, you're all coming from Davangere district, right? What if you want to take a decision of implementing a new law for a certain area, for a certain particular place to better people's life? Ali, can you simply go and implement a law? ಆಗಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿನೇ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಮಾಡಿ we have to see statistics of how people wanted to respond to that particular situation, and then you take a very logical approach to it. Illi psychology, which is science, statistical methods, which is math, is also important as a part of your overall career. Okay, the discipline that decides what a billion people are allowed to think. This is what I told you in the beginning, right? This is one discipline that tells this very intelligent scientist itself on how much that invention should be controlled or given freedom to. ಎಷ್ಟು ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲೂ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ನೀವು ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. Okay, so now there are so many people, and these are few of the career options which I want you to understand. Historian is there, philosopher, literary scholar, linguist, psychologist. Psychology may be opportunity oriented career, so I'll open that for you. Studies the human mind in clinical classroom, laboratory or workplace, and reads what goes wrong, what goes right for that matter. Okay, sociologist, what does this guy do? Studies how societies hold together, caste, class, family, religion, work, the city, the screen. So you must have heard this word called social structure. Whenever you open Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, unfortunately, people don't take interest in politics in today's time, but you don't have to be a politician every time. But as an independent human being in a democratic nation, you are a small politician just for yourself also. So you should be a small politician. There must be a small politician in you to see the world in the right direction. For that, you need to understand the social fabric of this nation. Social fabric of this nation andre one great thing about nam deshaddu ಒಂದು excellent ವಿಷಯ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ unity in diversity. Though we all come from different religion, caste, family, every 10th kilometer in Karnataka, South India, anywhere anywhere in the country, any state in the country you go, every 10th kilometer people talk differently, they have a different practice, they have a different belief, they have different goddesses for every town, small village and their street, they have different ways of worshipping them, we have different food habits. We all live in different climatic and weather condition, but we still believe in certain common things, and we are all still together in the same place. In your own class, look at your friends left and right. They may all come from different background. We are still together. That is the social fabric of our nation like India. So unless and until you understand that sociologist perspective, you will not be able to make decisions for the people around you. Okay, that is what a sociologist does by understanding the world around, and he tries to give a lot of advisory to people who make policies around this country. Okay, then let us also understand economist. Okay, in humanities side, studies poverty, public goods, and inequality with the same care. So imagine, just because of somebody earns more and somebody earns less, what all disturbances happens within the society in terms of respecting each other, in terms of equality, inequality. Because of economics, even humanities side, there may become some problem. There are people who master that side of. You study economics and then you study humanities and economics also. Okay, these are a few interesting ideas that, or careers that you can. Behavioral scientist, what does this guy do? Okay, designs, nudges, surveys, and field experiments that change what people actually do. Why somebody behaves in a certain way, why that certain people in that certain location, when that kind of a message is given, they act in a different way. How will people behave when a new law is implemented? How will people behave when a new leader is being elected? So a pulse, everybody, people, the pulse understand ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು is also scientist kind of a thing, where he is not a science scientist, but he is human scientist, and hence we are calling him behavioral scientist. Okay, now this also is a very interesting areas of study within humanities. Okay, what does your day look like anta nodidre? Okay, so okay, let's take this example. I don't have the picture to imagine today. Okay, Faisal is the name of the person. He's 29 years old. He is final mile consulting person. Okay, so let us see what he does. Reviews overnight surveys data from a Bihar field study on insurance enrollments, looks for response bias patterns. Okay, reviews overnight survey from a Bihar survey. So insurance company ge work ಮಾಡ್ತವರು ಒಬ್ರು. So he is trying to see, looks for responses bias patterns based on the outcomes of what the insurance company must have given, the claims, etc. Then he co-designs A/B test of 2 SMS reminder copies with banks, product team, sample size logged at 12,000. Okay, he tries to send messages to everybody and tries to understand how people behave or how people respond. We call it A/B testing. 2 different opposite kind of testing we give and see how people respond to. Writes a 2-page synthesis note for the World Bank client. 3 findings, 1 chart, 1 decision the client must make. Mentors a junior associate on her first qualitative interview guide. The questions she would never ask first, it seems. Now look at it is absolutely different from what an engineer or what a doctor would fundamentally do. It's all about people and their betterment. Okay, who is this cluster genuinely for? You read it in the margins. You enjoy a long argument. Andre tumba bega you can't look for an answer in your profession. So when we do career assessment, we actually also assess a personality of a person. 90% India nalli ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, we choose a career based on aptitude and we choose a career based on opportunity. These are the only 2 areas where we try to look into things and choose career. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ there are 2 things that are missing, that is your personality and your interest. Adralli, these are all, many of them are personality related. Okay, you enjoy a long argument. Your personality should be waiting for good results to come out, or bad results also, at least waiting for a result to come out. You think, where we discussed here, right? You start asking a right question, you read, you argue, and you publish. It's a long journey. This journey will be as much as 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or years together. Sometimes that thing may not get published as easy as you think it can. So it needs a lot of patience. That's what they say. You need a long argument. You sit with a question without rushing to the answer. Okay? Andre naale belige answer sigalla. You need to wait for it. You write to think, not only to record. How interesting it is, alva. See, one of the things that you must be choosing this career if you have a lot of interest in reading and writing. Not just reading, not just writing. Tumba odbeku andre not technical subjects, but I'm talking about reading people, reading society, reading social fabric, reading politics, reading policy making. Idaralalla interest idre, then if you're also interested in writing, it can be even stories. So many people express their thought process, or any people express their point of view even by writing great stories. Even films are a great way to tell something as a message to the world, which can also either enhance or disturb a social fabric. Okay, you care more about what is true and what is fashionable. You hold beauty and rigor in the same hand. You don't see why a sentence has to choose between being elegant and being correct. So you are trying to be as a neutral person, you must be able to think if you want to get into a profession like this. You should not be getting into this profession if you want a 9 to 5 job. ನಾನು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 9 o'clock ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮನೆಗೆ 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ this profession is not for you. If you want 40 lakhs on the day one, not 40 lakhs, even 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs on the day one, if you want to earn like what an engineer do, this is not the industry for you. You need to wait, you need to prove, you need to really be a part of a bigger game. You may have to work for the government, within the government, in a very superior position, in a very senior position, for you to earn fairly also. Okay? Then you dislike sustained reading. You need an answer by Friday. See, multiple situations I've written this. You need a long argument, question without rushing the answer. Okay, you need an answer by next Friday. Ingalla agala. Patience is one of the very key for this particular industry. How can you study this? Anta nodadre, for you to do humanities, you can do humanities and arts. So you can take humanities and arts even after doing science in PU1 and PU2. Even after doing commerce in PU1 and PU2, you can all directly take humanities also. Okay, so it's a neutral career. You can get into that core profession. What is the profession? These are the professions. These are the example professions that I showed you. For you to get into any of this profession, you can take art, science, commerce, any of them as your fundamental subject in PU1 and PU2, and then you can do it. One language, one humanities core, and at least one social science subject should be there. English is mandatory. You can either choose between history, political science, and sociology. Sorry, you have to choose two of this. Sorry, history, political science choose ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, and the political science and sociology choose ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, sociology and history choose ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Plus economics or psychology, ಈ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. One language is always advantage. Okay, so English is mandatory. History, political science, sociology, at least two of them you should choose. That is totally 3. And then economics and psychology, at least one of them you should choose. Language you have to choose anyways, which is 5. Okay. The first real filter, you may have to write the CUET exam, QUT exam. Ashoka University is one of the best universities in the country for you to do this. So Ashoka has a test called AAA test, which is Ashoka Aptitude Assessment. Undergraduate admissions to Ashoka University Liberal Arts program. So liberal arts is another area I want to touch upon. I'll come to you a little later. Then Kriya LAS, Kriya Liberal Arts Selection Exam. That's also another test. Then comes this SET Symbiosis test, which is in Pune. BA Liberal Arts and SSLA Pune, Symbiosis School of Economics is a separate school, and broader symbiosis liberal arts ecosystem can also do. So liberal arts is nothing but you can try to connect 2 or 3 unusual subject options to make some sense. You can do your economics, you can do your political science and all of that. Along with that, you can add physics as a subject. You can add totally something unusual as a subject. Maybe you want to bring a little liberal, you want to keep something very liberal to you, and you can pick and choose subject and you want to study. That is something possible. Okay. Then many people take law as a career option to get in and then try to make a change, because taking law is another also a very interesting way to take, because law connects to a lot of these humanities background, but Because I also told you in the beginning, you can't expect 10, 40, 50 lakhs if you become a humanities student right on the first day. Law can be a great option. You get into law, start practicing law. Simultaneously, you take additional assignments to work with the government, to work with NGOs, etc. And if you're able to see traction there and slowly you are able to grow there, you can always, slow down on your law and pick up your core, arts career as well. That's also another good way to look. These are a few good colleges apart from Ashoka University. So they are St. Stephen's College, which is in New Delhi, Lady Shri Ram College, which is in New Delhi, Hindu College, which is in New Delhi. Because that being the capital of the city, many colleges are from Delhi. Okay, Miranda House is a very famous college. In West Bengal, there's a college called Presidency University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Ashoka University, Haryana, okay, Kriya University, which is in Andhra Pradesh, Flame University, Pune, Maharashtra, Azim Premji University, which is in Bangalore. These are the few top universities you can consider. I've also written for every of this university what is the right entrance exam. For you to get into Stephens, you have to mandatory write CUET plus college interview you need to attend, which means in CUET you can write, you should have a minimum score to get eligible. If you get eligible, the college will give you an interview opportunity. You have to attend the interview, tell your passion. You may also have, they also ask for a small portfolio, right from grade 6, 7 and 8. Did you really do something about it? Now, you should also be a part of, scouts, and you can also be a part of any activities that is happening within the school for you to, get into places like this. You have a small portfolio built for you to show that you had been having interest in all of this right from the day one. As early as grade 8, 9 and 10, if you have interest, start developing the portfolio. So I've given you, and a few universities like Ashoka, Kriya, they have their own entrance test. They don't undergo CUET, but they have their own entrance test, which you have to write. Okay. Now, straight to a job or master's first. That is something that you can choose. After completing undergrad, you may also think you want to do masters. And if you want to do masters, you can always do masters and then also get into a job. Okay. What the first designation usually reads, Andre, what are the kind of works you can do as a first job? You can become a research associate, editorial assistant. You can also work for newspapers. Yeah, that's another interesting. You can work for newspapers. You can work for radio, any mass media communication area. Okay, you can work. Maybe you can work for Times of India, Hindu. These are Indian Express. These are also the places where people from humanities background or journalism background are highly welcomed. Okay, you can become a research associate, editorial assistant, sub-editor. Okay, policy analyst. How interesting it is, right? Then program associate, communication associate, junior creator, Young India fellow, Teach for Indian fellow. So these are a few, and you can also get into UPSC exams in the future. You can also write for UPSC exams, and you can deviate your career into IAS and IPS. This career will actually take you into those areas as well. And what are the companies that can kind of hire you? Think tank and policy research center for, so these are all government houses. These are all publishing houses like Hindu, Times of India, etc. that I told you. Development sector, okay, governance and civil services like UPSC and things like that. You can also think of consulting and corporate, McKinsey and Company, right? McKinsey is one of them who hires a lot of people from humanities background because it's a consulting company. Boston Consulting Group. These are a few of the companies that you can think in the private sector. If you want to be a teacher, you can definitely working in Delhi University, Ashoka University as a teacher is also a very, very proud thing to tell that you're working for Ashoka University as a professor or lecturer, because it's not easy to get in there and do things, right? So in academia and research, you can actually get into these universities as well. So it is not true that opportunities are not there taking humanities as a career. If the field calls you outside India, but I always recommend, you being an Indian, you should always study the fundamentals of Constitution of India, being in India. And in masters, you can always try to go abroad and try to study the world politics itself as a big thing. So now, if you look into if you see even India as a nation, we have, people who are representing India in the foreign stage. correct? And I don't know if you know who our international, the minister is. I don't know if you're aware of him, but go read about people like that. And they just cannot have idea within the country, but they should have the knowledge of world politics. So understand undergraduation in India you can do, and then in masters you can end up going outside to learn world politics. And then when you come back to India, you'll be able to deal with even international relationships for the country if you get a job within the government. If this rhythm feels right, then remaining acts come next in the same idiom. So now the thing is, if you think you belong to this, you actually have to start from today, because this one industry needs a lot of historic understanding. You should have a lot. In fact, I would say to an extent, you have to go back and read a lot of history. Whereas sometimes in your grade 6, 7, and 8, when we say history, most of the students fall lesser interested because, sir, I want to remember the year, I want to remember the name of the king, I want to remember the name. I don't find it very interesting. But you know what? If you try to understand why that king did something in that particular fashion for that particular locality in that particular weather condition, when you start studying it with a deeper intent of trying to understand the intelligence of people of those times, you will start it finding very interesting. Don't just see it as a subject. Don't see history as just a subject. See history as a context of how the future generation can actually live. So unless and until history ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಹೇಗೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾಳೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So for that you need to remember, if you have the interest in it, start reading books. Even the old newspaper, you may find one newspaper fallen in your house on the somewhere under your mother's kitchen slab. Try to remove that newspaper which may be 2 years old and try reading what happened 2 years back. That kind of an interest or curiosity you should have of understanding how people lived 2 years, 20 years, 200 years, 500 years back. And you have to compare that with the living of people today. And you need to think, if you were a leader, if you were a policy maker, if you were a politician, if you were a lawyer, if you were somebody to write a article to change somebody's mind, how would you do it for the future? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ history and current and future you have to think. And if you think that you will belong to this place, you have to start working on it today. I will not tell this for many professions like engineering, medicine. As you keep studying 11th, 12th, you keep going, you'll study. All of that is there. But this profession needs a lot of context for you to be successful. So keeping that simple, I would conclude this seminar for today. I'll be happy if anybody wants to give me a question. Thank you. If teachers or students, if you have any questions, I can finish that and I can conclude for the day.